Hi, I'm Cindy, also known as Caribbean Girl Reading the World, also known as Book of Saints, and I'm here because Book Depository allowed me to take over their YouTube video and channel. I don't know why they decided to let me do this because I probably will never leave. I'm here because we're celebrating Black History Month and I'm here to give some Black history recommendations. Side note, you do not have to read Black only in February. You can read Black all year round. So I'm here to give you like a bunch of recommendations that will probably take you the rest of the year to complete, but no problem because Book Depository probably ships to where you live and you can order from them, get your books and read Black all year round. Now let's get to it. So I'm here to talk about 7 authors that I absolutely love and I enjoyed reading their work so much that I wanted to share with you. These are authors that I find they don't get the love and awareness they deserve because they've written like masterpieces, and I'm here to share with you 7 Black authors that should be on your radar starting now. Let's get to it. I'm starting off with Open Water by Caleb Nelson. This was released in 2021 and I cannot stop thinking about the photographer and dancer in this book. It's absolute Black joy. Yes, there's a bit of racism thrown in, there's a bit of things that makes you question how Black bodies move in the world, but it's so expertly explored. It's deep, it's not one-dimensional, and look at this, it's such a tiny read but packs a huge punch. Like, this book took me out. Like, this book literally took me out, and I love the writing in this book. It takes a while to get into, but trust me, if you stick through this book, you will thank yourself and probably thank me for recommending it. So please put Open Water by Caleb Nelson on your books to read, because this is one Black author that I find, this is just his debut novel and he did such a great job with it that I cannot wait to read what he comes with next. He's a Black UK author that you should probably have on your reading list. The next author I absolutely love engaging with is Aisha Aruna Atata. She's actually a Ghanaian author and she writes YA like no other. Her YA novels are packed with history, and while I'm not a big YA reader, I love that she has this historical angle to her books that I'm just always engaging and I just want to know more. Also, can we talk about the cover of The Deep Blue Between? I mean, I know a lot of you probably buy books based on the cover, and if you're gonna buy a book based on the cover, look at this masterpiece. This one is actually set in Brazil and the Gold Coast in West Africa. I cannot recommend this enough. If you love reading about sisterhood and twins that got separated, this one is definitely one you should pick up. Aisha Aruna Atata has been around for a long time and all her books are just so well done. I consider this honestly a masterpiece, and if you're into reading YA, this is definitely an author you should have on your to be read list. I absolutely could not come in here and recommend Black authors without recommending one of my all-time favorite authors ever, Kai Miller. Yes, he's Jamaican, I'm Jamaican, that's not why I'm recommending him. He writes so well. Like, you would be reading his book and learning so much about a culture and a part of history that you don't even know about. And I'm Jamaican. If you're looking to start one of his novels, I highly recommend August Town. If you've been interested in Jamaica as a country or the people of Jamaica or just the language and how they behave as a community, I cannot recommend August Town enough. It is filled with life. You're basically taken to the streets of downtown Kingston and immersed into what's happening in this community, and you will not want to leave August Town. Please, if you're looking to read more Black authors, have Kai Miller on your reading list. Like, you're not gonna regret it. Seriously, you're not gonna regret it. Okay, we're heading all the way to Uganda for one of my favorite Black authors. Her name is Jennifer Makumbe. Y'all, I discovered her last year and I literally went and read all of her books. I am blown away by how she writes culture, how she writes magical realism, how she takes you into a character and you feel like they're literally living in your skin. I mean, with Manchester Happen, this is a collection of stories, and I like recommending collection of stories because it's easier for people to get into. If you don't like one story, you probably love another one, and you'll continue and continue until you finish the book. Manchester Happen basically follows Ugandans who leave Uganda to live in Manchester. We see a wide range of characters and how they're dealing with settling down in Manchester and how that is going for them. What I like about this is that every single story is a standalone, and you know, sometimes you read a short story and you're like, oh, I wanted more from that. Every single one of these stories are so complete. You're like, that was amazing. So if Jennifer Makumbe is not on your reading list, what are you really doing? Honestly, she is such an amazing author that I think should get more flowers. So go and read her. Another Black author I'm going to talk about actually came on the scene in 2020. So they're relatively new to the bookish space, but all the books that they've published so far I've enjoyed. Starting with Real Life. Brandon Taylor, I find, writes so well, and this is his debut novel, Real Life, that follows Wallace, who's a scientist that lives in the Midwest. Wallace needs new friends. That's all I'm going to say. Like, literally, this man needs new friends. And I've read this book back in 2020, and some days I'll be going about my business, and I literally stop and think, I wonder how Wallace is doing. And that's what I mean when a book is so good. Like, you finish reading a book 2 years ago, and you're still wondering how the character is doing. Also, why am I wondering how a fictional character is doing? Anyway, I highly recommend that you read Brandon Taylor's Real Life. So this is an author that I find she's been around for a very long time. I actually read her when I was in high school. That's how long she's been around. But every time I engage with her work, I get this visceral reaction to everything she writes. And I'm talking about Edwidge Danticat. She is a Haitian author, and her writing is truly spectacular. I know that she's celebrated in the Caribbean community, but I feel that her audience should be wider because she writes so well. In Everything Inside, we're taken to Haiti and to Miami, where we meet a lot of Haitians who are living in diaspora. We find out how life is treating them, how they're dealing with being an immigrant in the US, and a lot of the themes are very well done, well crafted. Mother-daughter, immigration, history, forgiveness, resentment. It's all packed in here. One of my favorite stories is about this man who basically is cheating on his wife, and his wife dies in the earthquake, and he meets up back with the lady he was cheating with, and there's this whole thing to unpack because there's so much resentment, there is so much what ifs, there's so much sadness, and I feel like it's just so well done. Again, this is a collection of stories, and I suggested this one because it's contemporary and it's not as old as her other works, but it's also very good. So if you're looking for authors that's not on your radar or you should be reading, I cannot recommend Edwidge Danticat enough. Like, her writing, all of her works are spectacular, and she does write a lot of collection of short stories, so that would be great for you to get into. Okay, so your girl is not a big science fiction reader. I'm gonna confess it. I'm not a big science fiction reader. But when Cadwell Turnbull wrote the lesson and talks about an alien ship that lands on a Caribbean island, sign me up! I mean, I've never, ever read or seen a movie where the alien ships lands in the Caribbean. Every time they land in New York, it's like, why is it always New York? Don't y'all want to go to the Caribbean? I mean, kind of don't want aliens here. But anyway, in the lesson, Cadwell Turnbull talks about the aliens that land on this island, and they come with the promise of they'll help you solve all your problems, but they just need to stay here for 2 or 3 years while they look for something. Of course, the people gobble this up, and we're taken into the community to see what are the ramifications of having these aliens on the island. This book explores themes of colonialism, capitalism, and a lot of regret. It is well written, and if you're into science fiction with a bit of reality, I cannot recommend the lesson by Cadwell Turnbull enough. He's such an amazing science fiction author, and he deserves his flowers. So if you're looking to read about an alien ship that lands on a Caribbean island, the lesson, yeah, the lesson. So part of reading widely and reading more Black authors means engaging with authors outside of the US and UK bubble. That's why I've taken you to places like Haiti, Jamaica, Uganda, Ghana, just so you could see that there are authors, Black authors that's out there writing masterpieces that may not have been on your radar. I truly hope that you enjoyed reading Black authors from around the world with me, because honestly, that's generally what I do. Read Caribbean authors and read Black authors. So thank you. Thank you so much, Book Depository, for having me. You know how much I absolutely love talking about Black authors and the work that they do. If you've enjoyed this video, remember to like and subscribe and hit a bell or a button. I'm not sure what it is, but I'm pretty sure you'll figure it out if you want to see more of Book Depository's videos. And if you loved any of the books that I talk about, or you're interested in reading more Black authors, remember you can head over to bookdepository.com to order any of these books and it will ship directly to you. Y'all, Book Depository ships to over 100 countries worldwide. So you have literally no reason to not read Black authors all year round. You literally can just go on Book Depository, order the book, and have it sent directly to you. Anyway, thank you so much for having me, Book Depository. I hope that I've opened your world to reading more Black and Caribbean authors. Have an amazing day. Bye.